as we do let in a lot of refugees and stuff, like, which is a good thing.
Do you think we should?
Yeah, I reckon we should, because like people need a place to go, you know.
Hi mate, my name's David, nice to meet you.
Hey mate, nice to meet you.
So, what do you think about Australia's culture? What would you say is the main component of it?
Oh, to be honest, Australia's culture is like so many different cultures. Like, this place is probably one of the most diverse countries in the world. Especially like walking around like South Bank, you'll see so many different kinds of people. Like, you know, you got your Kiwis and you got, you know, all sorts of other people like Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders, and like you even got like people from India and everything. It's like a beautiful place where all these cultures can come here and we all thrive together.
So, America, New Zealand and Canada and the UK, they're also very diverse. So, do you think that Australia is... How would you define Australianness if it's similar to the diversity of those countries?
I'd say it's very similar, because a lot of European countries, as we do let in a lot of refugees and stuff, like, which is a good thing.
Do you think we should?
Yeah, I reckon we should, because like people need a place to go, you know, because like there's a lot of wars and stuff going on.
But shouldn't the Australian government be centred towards the Australian people, not refugees? Or
as we do let in a lot of refugees and stuff, like, which is a good thing.
do you think we should?
Yeah, I reckon we should, because like people need a place to go, you know, because like there's a lot of wars and stuff going on.
But shouldn't the Australian government be centred towards the Australian people, not refugees or temporary migrants?
Well, thing with it is that like, gotta help people out. Like, you can't just, to be honest, you can't just be in it for yourself. Like, yeah, I get that the Australian government, there's like, oh yeah, we need to look after our own people. Yeah, that's true. That's all well and good. But like, you know, but other people in other countries, man, they're in trouble. And like, you know, gotta help people everywhere. That's what you do.
So if you see someone on the street and you're a bystander and they're being attacked and you do nothing, do you think that you should be legally responsible to the same person who's like persecuting them?
If you're like a bystander to that, I reckon it's tough though, because like you see, like, let's say if you see someone getting bashed, like I've seen heaps of people, like I've walked past the city, I've walked past to even Garden City, and like I've seen like people getting smacked up, because like I don't even know, some people just like jumping people, like, you know,
what I'm trying to say is that you can't like legislate moral heroism, so the obligation has to come from somewhere. So if Australia is obligated to countries through international agreements, agreements can be withdrawn, and if we say we ought to prioritise ourselves than people who are in war-torn countries, isn't it better to make our lives better before helping other people? Like, charity starts at home.
If you want to help people, like helping your own country, like, you know how you got like the farmers and stuff, and like they don't got a voice, and then you got people that do, like, you know how we prioritise different people. Like, everyone should have their own priorities set, like straight up. Like, if you want your own priorities met, like, you got to focus on your own people first, obviously. But like, if you don't need to do that and you got money to help out, or if you got time to help someone out, like even on a smaller scale or on a bigger scale, you know, it just depends. It depends on like the government and stuff, I guess.
So South Africa is having a huge race war at the moment between the Boers, who are the Dutch South African settlers, and the black native South Africans. Do you think that we should help them first before we help like the Middle East, or?
To be honest, that's like a hard question to answer, because they're both in strife. Like, let's be real. But like, if you you got to put yourself first in some situations. Like, let's say, because Australia has gone through like their own hardship as well, per se. Like, I don't know what it could be, but like, you know, focus on yourself before you focus on other people. Like, always.
Do you think we should strengthen relations with other Western countries who share a similar background and heritage to us?
Yeah, like you got NATO and all that. That would be like, because we're part of not NATO, but like some like that. So
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I think that can also lead to some more Americanization. Like, Australia uses dollars and cents, and that's American, instead of, because we used to use the pound up until 1966.
Yeah.
Do you fear that there's a loss of Australian culture as we're moving forward and it's less defined?
Well, Australia was brought up by convicts, this whole So
British convicts.
British convicts. So if I wouldn't say you'd never lose the Australian heritage, I guess, but times are changing.
But if you have an African person that says that they're Australian, or an Indian person that says that they're Australian, don't you think they're kind of appropriating what Australian means to suit them rather than how it was born out of the British convicts?
You see, that's different because refugees and people migrating over here on visas and stuff, you can't just say, oh yeah, this is Australian. People are trying to turn their own whole idea of moving to a country is that you adjust to their style of how they live. You can't just bring your own culture here and then expect everyone else to follow.
Do you think people do that? Yeah.
Oh, 100% they do. 100%.
I don't think that they do. I'll have to disagree on that, because if there's going to be designated suburbs that are going, Lakemba, for instance, is very Lebanese. Can we really call that Australian, especially when they're not interacting with other members of society and just their ethnic group? And
it's hard because they don't want to adjust to us.
So why do we have to tolerate them when they're not tolerant of us?
Well, that's the thing. Were they in trouble in the first place?
Well,
if they weren't in trouble, then why are they here? That's the real. If they're here on business, fair enough. But if you don't want to, let's say if you go into someone's house, right, and you go in, and let's say it's an environment where they want you to do certain things, right, to walk into the house, take off their shoes. But you don't believe in taking off your shoes. Do you just walk in with your shoes on, or do you respect the people's environment?
You respect their environment, but that's what I'm not seeing what people do with the nation of Australia. And sure, you can make the argument that the British didn't do that when they came here and didn't adjust to the Aboriginals' lifestyle. But in terms of Australian nationhood, that's purely from the settlers, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's in the past, really. You can't do nothing about that. It's what made Australia what it is now, and moving forward, I guess you still got to adjust. It's all about making
that's very insightful. I really appreciate your words.
No worries.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you.
Take care. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.